Hello, good morning. Welcome to Ray's Anatomy. I'm Corey Ray, and I am just very reflective today. I asked this question this morning to my community, and I wanted to share it here with you as well. What if you believed that you were your own beloved? What if you believed that all the love that you've ever been searching for in your life is right here, available to you at any moment? I know self-love gets a lot of talk lately, and I love that so many people are starting to, well, talk about it. But it's just so interesting that human beings are just funny. We're just such funny creatures. Because, if you look at the animals, you look at the trees, you look at the planet and everything on it, nothing is going around sad that nothing else is loving it. Like, they're all just living their lives, doing the things that they were meant to do, that they were created to do, that they were designed to do, whatever words you want to use, but they're just doing, they're being, they're being. Like this cardinal I'm looking at right now in my tree. Cardinal's just sitting there being a cardinal, right? The flowers that have grown up in my wildflower field, they're just being flowers. And human beings, we're such funny creatures. We get so sad if we believe that nobody loves us. And I don't mean that to be flippant. I don't mean that to be like condescending or anything. It's just, if you take a step outside for just a moment, just take a step out and look at that phrase, where then suddenly it becomes like a little, the story, it starts to become a story. It starts to become something that isn't real, because it's not. It's not real. It's made up. Love is not something outside of you. It is not something that you have to earn. It is not something that somebody else can even give you. That's a tough one. When you're in love, right? When you're in that space and you're like just like head over heels with somebody, right? The love that you're experiencing is not actually coming from that other person. It's coming from inside you. It's your experience. From a physiological perspective, it's a cocktail of hormones and feel-good things, right? That create a chemistry inside your body that feels good, right? That's from a physiological perspective, but from an energetic perspective, you're experiencing a connection. You're experiencing meaning. You're experiencing joy and openness and expansion. You're experiencing the vibration of love because of the the experience that you're having, this reflection, this reverberation, this resonance with another being. And so, but the actual experience of love, of being in love, is you. It is you that's experiencing it. You have to ask the question here, or at least take a look and see, it's like, is the experience of love, is that actually dependent on me having something outside of me to experience that? It's a good question. From my experience, it's not. If you watched my episode, part 2 of my 36-hour fast, then you'll hear me talk about my experience of love in that moment. And that was very much not an external experience. That was very much, there wasn't anything outside of me that was causing me to feel the love that I was feeling. I was feeling love just internally for existing. And it's so funny because guess what? I'm literally breaking a 36-hour fast, and that we're talking about love again. So I don't know. It's different today, but it's in a deeper way. It wasn't as surprising this time. So it was like, oh, yes, there you are. But love, when we search for that feeling of belonging, that feeling of acceptance, that feeling of home. And unfortunately, the world has outsourced our own love. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, maybe this is a part of the experience. Maybe this is why, maybe this is the whole point. Maybe this is the whole point, is to remember that love is actually here and not out there. So then we have circumstances, and that's how we set up the game. So that way we could remember that. Maybe that's the whole point. I'd have a pretty good argument that it is. But the world sells us stories that love comes from outside of us. It's interesting because as children, right, as oh, hello, hummingbird. Hi, the hummingbird that came and said hello. As children, as infants, as newborns, right, we actually do depend on external love for survival, right? The love of a parent or a caregiver, the care that is given to us, to feed us, to bathe us, to make sure we're safe, right? We are vulnerable when we are newborns and small children, which is very different than the majority of the rest of the human or of the animal kingdom, right? Because we got big heads. We got big heads, right? Most mammals are dependent for a short time, right? But we are dependent for a great deal of time. But there's something that I have seen, right, that I've observed of humankind, that we continue to believe the story that love has to come outside of us. I don't think we've never been taught. We've never been taught how to self-source. How to self-source our love. How to find the love inside of us. And so we kind of continue on this perpetual kind of juvenile track of expecting that love has to come from out here. that it has to come from other people or else we can't experience it. That we have to feel like we belong in a group of others or else we can't feel like we belong. But here's the thing. Everything outside of us is temporary. Every single person, every single object, everything outside of you is temporary. Nothing stays the same. We live in a continuously changing universe. Everything is continuously changing. Everything dies. Everything leaves. Everything breaks. And the sooner that we can realize that, the sooner we can get back to the real truth. And the truth is, the real truth here is that you are what is constant in your universe. Think about that for a moment. You are the constant. You are it. Everything else is temporary. Yes, of course, you also are temporary, but if you think from your perspective of awareness, right? You are you your whole life. You are you, and you will change, but you change with you. You are there when you take your first breath, and you are there until you take your last. What happens on the other ends, though, is another conversation, and one that we can really only hypothetics, right? We can only suppose it or imagine. But between the first breath and the last breath, what is the only constant? It's you. You're it, babe. Everything else leaves. Everything else changes. And so when we hang our love on the outside of us, we will feel abandoned. We will feel betrayed. We will feel lost and insecure and like love is the one that's going and coming and going and coming and going. But it's not. Love cannot leave you because you are it. And when you start to remember that, and remember that love comes from here, everything changes. And it changes in an extraordinary way, in a way that you can't even fathom. Now, of course, you're not always going to remember that love is from here. You forget. I forget. Oh my gosh, I forget so much. I forget so much. I forget, especially as a mom. Wow. I forget so much. But then I remember again. There's something magical that happens when you source love from you, when you realize you are the source of love and the experience of love, that actually comes from inside you and not from outside. Suddenly, love flows from you in a way that never had before. Because now you're not striving or grasping or resisting, right? Like, don't leave me, I love you, love me back, right? You're not having that experience anymore. So you let go. You let go in this beautiful, open way. Like a river who can finally flow free from confines of a dam. It just flows. It just moves from you. It just becomes you. It just becomes this natural state that you're in, rather than this forcing and, right? Like grasping. or clinging or wishing or thinking that it's outside somewhere else, and feeling the loss or feeling the abandonment when it leaves, right? Because you're no longer attaching your love, right? Like a hook. It's like I see it as like a rope on a star, right? You're no longer attaching the love to all of these external things that will inevitably go away. Everything leaves except for you. You never go anywhere because you are always with you. I'm going to get into something deep here, and this is outside of anatomy. This is outside of the body. This is pure, spiritual talk here, right? This is the problem with an externalized God. Because even we can feel abandoned by God. I did. And there are times still when I forget that the love is here and in me, and I feel abandoned by a universe. Pick your word, it doesn't matter. But when you externalize, which has happened. I mean, this is what modern day religion is. It's an externalized version of God, right? God is out there. God is, they say like God is everywhere, but we don't view it that way. We view it as an external, right? Oh, you have to go talk to a priest to go talk to God. You have to, even pray or whatever, read your Bible or kneel or whatever, right? Like there's these things that you have to do in order for you to access God. And that's the problem, is that we keep putting it out there instead of turning in here. What would happen if we believed that the source of love was inside us the whole time? That was us, that was our joy or our experience of life, that it's just loving ourselves and our souls for who we are. What if it's just that? What if that is what it means to love God? Because it's here, it's in here. I'm not talking about like this narcissistic view of self-love, right? I'm not talking about like, oh, I am greater than everything and I am, like that's actually the opposite of self-love. That's a compensation for love. It's a compensation for a belief of worthiness. That's far from what I'm speaking about right now. I'm speaking about falling in love and being in love, like it's a river, like it's a space within your heart, and that experience of love inside you. I feel like this is what the mystics talk about. This is what spirituality talks about, but a lot of people have different ideas how to access that love. For me, I access that love by my body, by my, like, falling in love with this soulmate of mine. I fell in love with the human body and how precious it is and how magical it is. I fell in love with my body and my cycle and my womb and my breasts and my heart and my voice and my art and my dance. I fell in love with the expression of me. And when I did that, and I started to get curious about who am I? Who is this person? Who is this body? Who is this heart? Who is this person? And I started asking those questions and exploring and getting to know myself instead of ignoring myself or like trying to understand everybody else. I just spent some time with me. And I found some really fucking cool shit. I'm like, whoa, who is this person? She's cool. I want to get to know her. And of course, while I was looking at all of those beautiful things, I also saw all the hurt things. Because that's what comes up when you're on a journey of self-love. Is you expose all the pieces of you that you abandoned along the way in order to be loved and accepted by somebody else. And so the coming back home, the coming back to self-love, it is a painful journey. It hurts. It hurts because it requires of you your attention. It requires your acceptance. It requires you to sit down with every single demon inside of you that tells you you're unworthy, that tells you you're unlovable, that tells you you're too loud or too this or too that or not enough this or not enough that. It requires you to sit down with them all. And it requires you to drop the judgment. To let go of those stories that you have to do anything else but then be you for someone to love you. Because remember, when you come back to your own love, it doesn't require anybody else's love to feel that anymore. You are now self-sourced. You are now in love here. I mean, I could say you're in love with yourself, but let's play with those words a little bit, right? When you are in love with yourself, that means that yourself, you, is in love. If you pictured love as a river and you as this like being that could be in the river and then also be the river, now being in love takes on a whole different meaning. And being in love with yourself takes on a whole different meaning because now you are in love. You are swimming in love. You are floating in love. Love is flowing through you and to you and from you, and you are it at the same time. And suddenly now those lines get blurred. And so it's not like this weird like, oh, she's so in love with herself. Like, well, who else would I love? I mean, I'm not saying that I don't love other people. That's a different conversation. I'm talking about this space of actually loving you. I guarantee you that if you're listening to this and you've sat here for 23 minutes and you've continued to watch, that you are not at any threat of getting such a big head that you are going to abandon everybody in your life. And no, as a matter of fact, I venture to believe that you actually struggle with self-loathing or self-abandonment or hatred. Hatred's a strong word, but this space that you probably do struggle with loving who you are. I remember feeling like that. Sometimes it still comes up, not as often as it used to, because I've devoted the last 4 years of my life to this journey. And I would still consider myself pretty early on that journey. I'm going to be on this journey for the rest of my life. of learning how to love myself. But I do feel called to help others do that too. And that's why I'm here. It's why I do this. It's not because I need attention or anything like that, although sometimes my ego likes to pop up and say, hey, that's why you're doing it. And I have to remember that actually it's not. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you, right? Because I've already found my love. Because my love is here. It's so freeing when you finally realize that you do not have to externalize your source of love. When you realize that your love can come from inside of you. When you have that experience and you remember that, and then suddenly you feel it's indescribable. I would love to go back, and as a matter of fact, I do in visualizations quite frequently, but to go back to me as a 21-year-old who so desperately was looking for love outside of herself, particularly through relationships, or not even relationships, through encounters with men. I was so desperate to experience love. I had experienced a sense of abandonment from my God that I grew up with, because as I got older, I realized that the God that my family believed in was very cruel, and I couldn't, it wasn't copacetic, it didn't match what I felt like God should be. And so I felt abandoned and hurt by that God, and therefore by my family. And so I sourced. I went out and I sourced, and I tried to source from other people, particularly from men, because I was in the military and that's what was around. Oh. But I would love to tell her, or help her see, or give her a big hug and remind her to go look inside. To remind her to spend time with her body, to spend time with her heart, to spend time with her joy and her creativity, because that's how you get to know yourself. It's difficult to love yourself if you don't know who you are. So how do you get to know someone, right? Like, take that thought of like how you get to know someone outside of you and apply it to yourself. How do you get to know yourself? Well, you spend time with yourself. You spend quality time with yourself. You ask yourself questions. Journaling. Journaling is one of the fastest ways. I'm giving you the keys here. How do you get into self-love? Well, you get to know yourself. You journal. You meditate. You move your body. You spend time doing things that you enjoy. Like that you genuinely enjoy. That has nothing to do with anybody else. Now, you can do things with other people, that's fine, but you're doing things because you enjoy them. Just because you enjoy them. You get to know your body. You spend time with her. You love on her. You you get curious about her. And, you know, I would venture to say that for many women, learning about your cycle is a really awesome way. It's a portal in. It's a portal into self-love. Falling in love with your body is a portal in to your self-love. Journaling and asking who you are, it's a portal into self-love. I can't say which path it is for you. I can only tell you that it's there. And it's waiting for you. Your love is waiting for you. The love that you have waited for your entire life, it is not out there. It's here. You're not going to find it out there. I'm not saying that there's not experiences to be had with other people, but the love that you experience is still in you, and you can access it in other ways. When you stop hanging your love on outside things and you start anchoring it back to yourself, then suddenly you no longer feel unsafe. You no longer feel uncertain. You no longer feel that, like, when if you experience those things, then it's because you've left yourself. If you know that, like, that's where I'm at. Like, when I experience, if I experience a sense of abandonment, it's now because I realize that I abandoned myself. If I feel betrayed, it's because I betrayed myself. And as far as other people go, if you know, if somebody is treating me in a way that is, you know, not kind, or is I feel like those people just aren't in my life anymore. Or that if there's a moment of unkindness or a moment of lapse of things, then we talk about it. And I remember that also they're a human being too. And I don't take it so personally anymore, because I no longer am expecting that my love is sourced from them. It's now sourced from me. And so now that liberates me from having to, like, I don't feel that abandonment like that anymore. And when I tell you, like, that's what my experience used to be, like, for real, serious abandonment wounds that I have had to work through, and that I continue to work through. Today, I'm having clarity of thought. Today, I'm having clarity of feeling. Today, I'm having a lot of clarity because, well, you know, I've been fasting for 36 hours, so there's clarity there. But tomorrow, or at least on, like, transition days, or days that you know, some days I have days that I struggle, days I forget, and that's okay. I wasn't meant to remember all the time that I am the source of my own love, but I build things in place to help me remember. Oh yeah, I do that by reading books that remind me. I'm reading Louise Hay's book right now, You Can Heal Your Life, for the 3rd time. It's a reminder. Oh yeah, love comes from myself. I watch movies and I listen to, you know, or I watch shows that remind me to love myself. I listen to music that reminds me to love myself. I spend time out in nature with my chickens, who somebody might jump up here. That reminds me that, oh yeah, there's love here. Because I do forget. I might forget in a half an hour. But that's okay. That's okay. That's Barbie making noise. I don't know. I thought she was going to jump up here to say hello, but she's still down there. So I think my deepest wish for you is to remember how magnificent you are. Is to remember that love is you and that you are love. And to remember that you can access love at any point, in any time. I think that's my greatest wish for everyone. If you're like, well, how the fuck do I do that? And you feel like you want to explore the portal of the body and the womb and how to access self-love through those things, through learning about the magic of your body and learning about the magic of your womb, then shoot me a message. Let's chat. Let's talk. There's so many ways in. I just happen to have my way that I learned, and I feel like there's other people that also will learn that way. And so I use my skills and my expertise to teach people that, about their cycles and about loving themselves through their cyclical nature and loving their bodies as they are and helping to take care of them in a supportive, loving way. But this is not just, I always give the invitation because maybe you're that person. Maybe you're like, yeah, I would like to know more about that. Shoot me a message. Find me on socials, right? But honestly, gosh, this is the journey of a lifetime. It's falling back in love with you. Is letting go of all the stories that tell you you're not worthy of love. And remembering that you are love. What an adventure. What a privilege that we get to do this. It is such a privilege. Oh, I knew somebody was going to come say hi. Who is that? Oh, that's Carmel. Did you want to come say hi, Carmel? Come here. You gonna come in my lap or you just gonna sit here? She wants to sit. Look at her just doing her little chickeny thing. Just doing her little chickeny thing. When we do our little chickeny things too. Not that you're a chicken. Our little human things. We get on with the playing and the curiosity and the exploration. Even in our work, even in our space, right? Even in the challenge. In the relationships and the doings. When we start coming from a place of love, suddenly all those things feel so much more bright, so much more vibrant. Okay, chicken. They suddenly feel the love suddenly flows from you in a way that it hadn't before. Because you no longer are feeling resentful that the world is not giving you the love that you feel that you want. You're no longer bitter at a world that hasn't given you the love that you want. You're no longer feeling like you're no longer feeling lost. You're no longer feeling that pain because the love is here. And so now you get to show up in a way that's content, peaceful, joyful, playful. You get to show up however you want. And when you show up however, like in the way that you want, and you show up as that person, right? That joyful person, that playful person, that loving person, that patient person. When you show up as that person, how do you think that affects the world around you? It's funny because the world tells us that self-love, to love yourself, is selfish. And yet, when you actually truly come from a place of love, you become the most loving version of yourself. Because then you are love. You can't not. It doesn't work that way. You can't. You're really loud, baby. I know. But I don't know if they can hear me. Guess she had something to say too. When you self-source love, now love flows from you to everyone around you. When you self-source love, everybody benefits. That's the biggest lie that the world has told us, has told you, is that if you devote time and love to yourself, that everybody else will feel abandoned, right? Because we're all walking around sourcing our love from other people. Can you see the logic here? Like in that if we are all walking around sourcing our love on each other, then no wonder the world tells us that if we love ourselves that we're abandoning everyone. No wonder. It kind of just like even like piecing that together, like, oh, that makes sense. It makes so much sense. But if we all self-sourced, then nobody would feel that way. Now, of course, babies, young children, right? Children, there's, a natural space there that as a parent, they would have that. But at some point, you have to pass the baton to them. You have to teach them how to love themselves. You have to teach them that I am not the source of your love. You are the source of your love. But we can't teach something that we don't know. And that's why we end up having a world of 8 billion people who have sourced their love outside of themselves. It's because everybody's forgotten how to love themselves. Everybody's forgotten how to self-source because it's been so long since we've lived in a world where that's what was the norm. Nobody remembers. but we are remembering. There are those of us that are waking up to it. That's what, to me, that's what it means to be awakened. It means to remember my love, and it comes from inside me. That's what I feel like that means. I think it means something different to different people, but to me, it means I remember my own love. I remember that I am love, and that I am always connected to love, and that I can never be away from love because love comes from me. And I can't be away from me. I am me. And when I remember that, suddenly everything else makes sense. If we all remembered that, everything would change. Everything would change. But it starts with us. It starts with you. It starts with me. We can't change the world without starting here first. It starts with you. It starts with you. Can you see how much of a gift that is? Because you don't have to depend on anyone else to get it. You don't have to depend on anybody else to find the love. What a gift. What a gift that is, because everybody else is also on their own journey. And let's face it, they're going to disappoint you. They are. Every single other person on this world is going to disappoint the fuck out of you. You might even disappoint yourself. But that's where you have an invitation to come back to love. You always have an invitation to come back to that. Every single second of every single day, you always have an invitation to come back to self-love. And when you do that more often, more frequently, then it you start to build those neural pathways. You start to recognize love. You start to see it inside yourself. And then you don't forget as much, because then it becomes a normal state. If I have a negative thought about my body, which sometimes still comes up, it does, I immediately recognize it now. And I see it. I see it for what it is. It's an invitation. It's a door. It's a doorway back to love for myself. Oh yeah, I remember. I get to love myself. And loving myself feels good. Because love feels good. Love feels good. It feels good to be in love. So when the inevitable day comes, because it does, probably at least a couple of times a day. I mean, I wouldn't expect it not to, because again, it's like awakening up. It's like it's a moment. It's a portal. It's a portal of love. It's an invitation for me to come back to my love, because I was operating from a place where I was not loving myself. And so because that existed, I get to come back to it. And so do you. When you start to learn that language and you start to become aware and you wake up to that space, inevitably when those self-criticisms come up, when the self-doubt comes up, it becomes not a story that you attach to. It becomes an invitation for you to come back to the real truth, the real story, that you're fucking awesome and incredible and beautiful and magnificent and unique and a part of a universe that is incredible and awesome and unique. This is my prayer for you today. It's my only prayer. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my chickens. Are you gonna come up here, Barbie, and say hello? She doesn't get on my arm like Winter does. Come on. Like Winter did. There we go. Although she looks very similar to Winter. Come here. Everybody wants to say hi to Barbie. Hi, sweetie. She's very pretty, chickens. Barbie called her Barbie. And she was a little prissy. When she was younger, she still is a little prissy. I'm surprised she's on my arm, actually. Nope, chicken butt. All right, can you go that way, babe? Thank you so much for being here today to listen to my musings and my chickens. If you only knew how incredible you are. That's the journey. That's the journey. That's the reflection I want to give you today. I'm so grateful. I tear up. I feel it. I feel the emotion. I feel the potency of your awakening to your own love. I feel it because I experience it in me too. These chickens crack me up. Go out and remember. Go in and remember. Especially in. Go in and remember why you came here and who you are. I promise you, it is the most incredible adventure you will ever be on in your entire life. Who that person is, they're incredible and they're worth knowing. You are worth knowing. You are worth getting to know. And you are worth loving. So, I don't have a permission slip, but I'm giving you one here. To go love yourself. But you don't need my permission slip. You don't need anybody's permission to love who you are. You get to do that all just because you're here. So. Reflecting all the love to you. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day.